Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Om Vijubha Paramahamsa Parivrata Acharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimat His Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vijubha Paramahamsa Parivrata Acharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimat His Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवरासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. All, all Gauri Sudha Samadhivatis. All Gauri Sudha Samadhivatis. All Gauri Sudha Samadhivatis. All Gauri Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. All Gauri Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Semate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pachadini. Nirvesesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Vedatarini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtapayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth skanda, 29th chapter, entitled Talks between Narada and King Prachinabhari. Shloka number 55. Sattvam vichaksham mrugacheshtitam atmanantaha Chittam niyacha hridikannadhunim chachitte Jayangana samama sattamajutagatam Prinihi hamsa saranam virama kramena Sattvam vichaksham mrugacheshtitam atmanantaha Chittam niyacha hridikannadhunim chachitte Jayangana samama sattamajutagatam Prinihi hamsa saranam virama kramena Sattvam vichaksham mrugacheshtitam atmanantaha Chittam niyacha hridikannadhunim chachitte Jayangana sattamajutagatam Prinihi hamsa saranam virama kramena Vaishnavis. Saha, that very person, Tvam, you, Vichakshya, considering Muruga Cheshtitam, the activities of the deer, Atmanaha, of the self, Antaha, within, Chittam, consciousness, Niyacha, fix, Hridi, in the heart, Karnadhunim, oral reception, Cha, and Chitte, unto the consciousness, Jahi, give up, Angana Asamam, household life, Asattama, most abominable, Yutagatam, full of stories of man and woman, Prinihi, just accept, Hansa Saranam, the shelter of the liberated souls, Virama, become detached, Kramena, gradually. Translation, my dear king, just try to understand the allegorical position of the deer. Be fully conscious of yourself and give up the pleasure of hearing about promotion to heavenly planets and by fruitive activity. Give up household life, which is full of sex, as well as stories about such things, and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the mercy of the liberated souls. In this way, please give up your attraction for material existence. Please repeat. My dear king, just try to understand the allegorical position of the deer. Be fully conscious of yourself and give up the pleasure of hearing about promotion to heavenly planets by fruitive activity. Give up household life, which is full of sex, as well as stories about such things, and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the mercy of the liberated souls. In this way, please give up your attraction for material existence. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. In one of his songs, Srila Narottam Das Thakur writes, Karma Kanda Jnana Kanda Kevala Visher Bhanda Amruta Boliya Jeba Khai Nana Joni Sada Pire Kadarya Bhakan Kore Ta Janma Adapate Jai. Fruitive activities and mental speculation are simply cups of poison. Whoever drinks of them, thinking them to be nectar, must struggle very hard, life after life, in different types of bodies. Such a person eats all kinds of nonsense and becomes condemned by his activities of so-called sense enjoyment. People are generally enamored of the fruitive results of worldly activity and mental speculation. They generally desire to be promoted to heavenly planets, merge into the existence of Brahman, or keep themselves in the midst of family life and enchanted by the pleasures of the tongue and genitals. The great sage Narada clearly instructs King Bharishman not to remain his entire life in the Grihastha ashram. Being in the Grihastha ashram means being under the control of one's wife. One has to give up all this and put himself into the ashram of the Paramahamsa. That is, put himself under the control of the spiritual master. The Paramahamsa ashrama is the ashrama of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whom the spiritual master has taken shelter. The symptoms of the bona fide spiritual master are stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Skanda, 3rd chapter, 21st Sloka. Tasmad Gurun Pavadyeta Jigyasu Sriya Uttamam Sabde Pare Chanishnatam Brahmanyupasamasayam Upasamasayam. Any person who is seriously desirous of achieving real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of a spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation and arguments, and thus be able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken complete shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, are to be understood as bona fide spiritual masters. A Paramahamsa is one who has taken shelter of the Parabrahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one takes shelter of the Paramahamsa spiritual master, gradually, through training and instruction, he will become detached from worldly life and ultimately return home back to Godhead. The particular mention of Anganasramam Asattama Yutagatam is very interesting. The whole world is in the clutches of Maya, being controlled by woman. Not only is one controlled by the woman who is one's wife, but one is also controlled by so many sex literatures. That is the cause of one's being entangled in the material world. One cannot give up this abominable association through one's own effort. But if one takes shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who is a Paramahamsa, he will gradually be elevated to the platform of spiritual life. The pleasing words of the Vedas that inspire one to elevate oneself to the heavenly planets or merge into the existence of the Supreme are for the less intelligent who are described in Bhagavad Gita as Mayaya Paritagnyanaha, those whose knowledge is taken away by the illusory energy. Real knowledge means understanding the miserable condition of material life. One should take shelter of a bona fide liberated soul, the spiritual master, and gradually elevate himself to the spiritual platform and thus become detached from the material world. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Hansa Saranam refers to the cottage in which saintly persons live. Generally, a saintly person lives in a remote place, in the forest, or in a humble cottage. However, we should know that the times have changed. It may be beneficial for a saintly person's own interest to go to the forest and live in a cottage. But if one becomes a preacher, especially in Western countries, he has to invite many classes of men who are accustomed to living in comfortable apartments. Therefore, in this age, a saintly person has to make proper arrangements to receive people and attract them to the message of Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, perhaps for the first time, introduced motor cars and palatial buildings for the residence of saintly persons, just to attract the general public in big cities. The main fact is that one has to associate with a saintly person. In this age, people are not going to search out a saint in the forest. So the saints and sages have to come to the big cities to make arrangements to receive the people in general, who are accustomed to the modern amenities of material life. Gradually, such persons will learn that palatial buildings and or comfortable apartments are not at all necessary. The real necessity is to become free from material bondage in whatever way possible. According to the orders of Srila Rupa Goswami, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatarham Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. This is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-255. One should not be attached to material opulence, but material opulence may be accepted in the Krishna consciousness movement to facilitate the propagation of the movement. In other words, material opulence may be accepted as yukta vairagya, that is, for renunciation. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurandilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Palakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Sri Visakam Vitansya Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesya Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhan Vasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaivacha Aditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Narada Muni is speaking this sloka to King Prachinabarishat. That is the beginning of the conclusion. The next sloka will be spoken by the king himself in reply to the instructions of Narada Muni. So this is actually the last instruction here from Narada Muni to King Prachinabarishat in this matter. It started by some allegory which the king could not understand properly, but now it becomes very clear what the king has to do according to the instruction of Narada Muni. Narada Muni here does not make any mystery about his instruction. It is very direct And certainly the king will be able to understand exactly what he has to do now in a practical manner. So this is the conclusion. What is the conclusion? It is that the king, Prachinabarishat, that is the conditioned soul, that means every one of us with a conditioned soul must follow this principle. The principle is that one should not remain attached to material life, especially household life. And he must take shelter of the bona fide spiritual master so as to understand what is the goal of life and how to achieve it. So these are the instruction, very essential instruction that the Narada Muni is giving to King Prachinabarishat and to Srimad Bhagavatam, to all the students of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he has given some example in order to make his point very clear. He has given the example of a deer. The deer in the forest, accompanied by his wife and children, is enjoying his time, is very happy in the forest. That is his own surrounding, very beautiful, so many beautiful trees, fruits and flowers, and the family members are there. So everything is very wonderful for the deer and his family. They are enjoying their time. But the deer has not seen, because he is lost in his enjoyment. He does not see that in front of him there is a tiger who is ready to pounce upon him at any moment. And behind him there is a hunter with a bow and arrow who is ready to throw his arrow and kill the deer, as well as his family members. So the deer does not see him. He doesn't see. He is completely engrossed in materialistic life, looking after wife and children. So that is the situation. So Narada Muni, in this way, this is the last example given, very clear, and King Prachinabarishat should try to understand, yes, my position is like that. I'm not different from the deer. That I'm also having a family, wife and children, and then the other ministers, they are ruling the kingdom in this way, spending my life in the midst of all these friends. And also, I'm trying to enjoy more and more. Not only here, the deer is not doing any yagya. He is satisfied with his own present life. But the king is even more than the deer in the matter of material enjoyment. Not only he is enjoying the present enjoyment, but he is performing yagyas to elevate himself to a greater enjoyment. So that is the position of the king. And Narada Muni, in this way, is instructing the king that you give up all this. You give up your kingdom, your family, and give up all these yagyas, and just try to be self-situated. Go to a guru, spiritual master, and learn from him the art of spiritual life, completely in a transcendental situation, and in this way spend the remaining part of your life and achieve success, go back home, back to Godhead. So, the situation of King Prachina Parishad is that he is trying to be happy on the material level. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is telling Lord Sri Arjuna that there are different types of happiness. And happiness is there in mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, in mode of ignorance. So Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, what is happiness in the mode of goodness? At the beginning, it tastes like poison. It is like drinking poison. But at the end, it is nectar. That is happiness in the mode of goodness. And happiness in the mode of passion is just the opposite. At the beginning, it is all nectar, very wonderful. And at the end, it is like poison. So we can make some read from Prabhupada, 1837. What is happiness in the mode of passion, as experienced by King Prachina Parishad and most of the conditioned souls? Vishayendriya samyogat yattadagre mritopamam pariname vishamiva tatsukam rajasam smrita. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be of the nature of passion. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, a young man and a young woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end, or after some time, it becomes just like poison. They are separated, or there is divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and the sense subjects is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. So everybody wants to be happy. Once in London, one reporter asked from Sri Prabhupada, ask a question. My question is, what is your goal in life? What is your objective? Prabhupada said, my goal is to enjoy. Simple answer. Prabhupada also is answering that I want happiness. So everybody wants happiness, but there are different types of happiness, and this is where the discrimination should take place between one form of happiness and another. Certainly, Prabhupada was not after sense enjoyments. He wants to enjoy Lord Krishna service. By serving Lord Krishna, Prabhupada was feeling the greatest happiness. And that is his goal of life, to enjoy Krishna consciousness and to teach others the same. So the happiness in the mode of goodness is described that yattadagre vishamiva pariname mritopamam tatsukam satukam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the pursuit of self-realization, one has to follow many rules and regulations to control the mind and the senses and to concentrate the mind on the self. All these procedures are very difficult, bitter, like poison. But if one is successful in following the regulations and comes to the transcendental position, he begins to drink real nectar and he enjoys life. So that is real happiness. So King Prachina Barishat is simply enjoying now happiness in the mode of passion. And that will end simply by drinking poison. Srila Prabhupada in the purport also quotes from Narottam Das Thakur that pure Krishna consciousness, pure bhakti is devoid of karma kanda, jnana kanda, which are kevala vishar banda. Kevala vishar banda. These two departments of instruction, knowledge in the Vedic literature, karma kanda, jnana kanda. Then you have also upasana kanda, and then you have also bhakti, which is the supreme knowledge and the conclusion of the scriptures. But for certain classes of people, the Vedic literature also gives some instructions in the matter of karma kanda and jnana kanda. By karma kanda, you or the student is following some principles, especially yajna, dana, tapa, and in this way ripes some punya, and this punya will allow him in the next life to get a better body. He may go to heaven, and for many, many thousands of years, he will enjoy heavenly pleasures. This is the result of karma kanda, karma yoga. And jnana kanda is speculating on the nature of the absolute truth. Neti neti, this is not this is not that, or this must be impersonal. It doesn't have any name, no senses, no personality. It's not doing anything. It is just all-pervading, invisible, immaterial, infinite. No? All these descriptions are there in the Vedic literature, in the Jnana Kanda. So those who are following Jnana Kanda, they want to merge at the end of life. They want to finish this material life. It is not, I don't like it. I don't like to stay here. I want to make myself null and void and merging into Brahman. That is the ultimate objective of those who follow Jnana Kanda, the Jnanis. So Narottam Das Thakur says, these two pots are pots of poison. That means they are completely against the conclusion of bhakti. The devotees of the Lord engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service to the Lord. They are perfectly understood their position. I am the eternal servant of Krishna. I have nothing to do with this karma and the jnana, impersonal knowledge. The real source of happiness, the ultimate goal of life, is to be engaged in devotional service. So for the devotees of the Lord, here Narottam Das Thakur said, these two are pots of poison. That is, they are killing the real propensity of the living entity. Everyone, every jiva Mamaivamsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Eternally, every jiva is my part and parcel, Lord Krishna says, and therefore they are eternal servants of Krishna. So there is no need to follow any other type of dharma, sadhana, even though it looks very appealing. Some people may think, oh, this is very good. I will go to heaven. Just like in the newspaper, you see, so and so died yesterday. He went to his heavenly abode. Heavenly abode. They have no idea whether he went there or not, but they are advertising in newspaper. Even if it is true, how long he'll remain in heaven? That is Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartin Arjuna. Even going to Brahmaloka is not guarantee that you will achieve Vaikuntha afterwards, unless you become pure devotee of the Lord. So Narada Muni knows very well, accurately, and he is fixed up in his teachings. He will not encourage the king. Oh, you are doing yajna, very good, very good. All people will be benefited. Everybody will have a chance to go to heaven. Narada Muni is not encouraging. So that is the greatness of Narada Muni, a Mahajana, who is in this way telling King Prachina to stop all these yajnas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that yajna, dana, tapa, karma should not be stopped. So this is another viewpoint. We can refer to this sloka from the 18th chapter, 5th sloka. Lord Krishna says, Yajna dana tapa karma na tyajyan karyameva tat. Yajyo danam tapasyaiva pavanani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. So, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. There are many purificatory processes for advancing a human being to spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of these sacrifices, and it is called Vivaha Yajna. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivaha Yajna, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, this Vivaha Yajna should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasi should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in a marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Like that. So this is a different view here. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that at least at the beginning, one should not give up yajna, dana, tapa, which are essential for people in order that they should be elevated to a higher position. Otherwise, they will simply remain like animals. They live like animals, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But if they are engaged in yajna dana tapa karma at the beginning of their life, then they'll be elevated to higher position, and the position of goodness. And then from that position, they can go to a higher level of spiritual consciousness. So that is very interesting here. Narada Muni understands King Prachina Parishad has done enough yajna dhammatapa. He has done. Okay, at the beginning, okay, that is the duty of the king to benefit all the people of his kingdom in this manner. But now, after so many years of practice, now he should stop. He should simply take up spiritual life by approaching a spiritual master, Paramahamsa. So, otherwise, at the beginning, Vivaha Yajna, that also should be followed. Srila Prabhupada, at the beginning, in his mission, he could understand that this mission, preaching Krishna consciousness in America, will not be exactly like the mission of my spiritual master. You will not find any grihastha in the Gaudiya Math. Everybody is brahmachari or sannyasi. There is no question of grihastha ashram there. So all the disciples in this way were brahmacharis. That is the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He started in India. But he instructed Srila Prabhupada to go to the West. And the West is a different picture. The society there is completely different. There is no traditional society like here in India. And everybody is engaged in sinful activities, including illicit connection with women and so on. So that is, everybody is doing like that. So Prabhupada saw the situation and he could understand that even though I'm a sannyasi, but somehow I have to arrange marriage between these disciples. Especially, Prabhupada instructed that every woman coming to ISKCON, disciple or follower, should be married. She should, every woman should be married. Because women are generally weaker and they must be protected. That is very essential. At the beginning of life, women are protected by the parents. Afterwards, after marriage, they are protected by the husband. Then in the old age, they are protected by the children or sons. The sons protect the mother. So that is very important. And if this is not done, Prabhupada understood, then this ISKCON society will not progress. There'll be so many obstacles that it will not progress. It will remain on the material platform. The disciple will not be able to make spiritual advancement. So, especially young people, everybody is addicted in this manner. Sex life is a common propensity. So those who can control, very good. Let them remain brahmachari. That is another instruction of Prabhupada. He instructed Hansadutta Swami in Germany that you have so many brahmacharis out there with you. You must see that they remain brahmacharis. But women should get married. So Hansadutta Swami is, Prabhupada, you are giving this instruction. I cannot understand. Seems to be contradictory. How to do that? And Prabhupada said, yes, this is your management. So man and woman cannot be on the same platform. There must be a different in the purpose, Srila Prabhupada is telling also that not only we are under control of wife, those husbands who are little weak, they become controlled by the wife who is stronger. But the other women also in the society, they also control men. And Prabhupada was witness of this, especially when he went to America. He could see all the advertisements now in the street, all men, women together, all so many publications. They are simply about a man and woman. So this relationship, man and woman, is so much exposed in the Western. What to speak of publication, movies explicitly, no direct exposure, man and woman exposure. Everybody is going to movies and so on. So it is very difficult to control the mind and the senses in this condition. Therefore, one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master, receive instructions from him on how to develop spiritual life. One should remain in association with devotees, avoiding association with non-devotees. Who is a non-devotee? Non-devotee is women's association and association with men who are associating with women. So direct or indirect association in this way, that is condemned by the scriptures. And those who are non-devotees, that is also another type of asat sangha. So all these principles have to be very carefully followed if one is intent, one has determined to make progress in spiritual life and at the end of life achieve the eternal abode of the Lord. So other things that Prabhupada is mentioning is that Mayaya Paritagnyana. Some may be very learned, may be good philosopher, scientist, but if they are not devotees of the Lord, their knowledge is stolen, taken away by Maya. In this way, they cannot be devotees of the Lord, even though they have developed, studied for many years, and developed knowledge of the mundane world. But their knowledge is just Mayaya Paritagnyana. That is the problem. So the real necessity is to understand spiritual life. Spiritual life is to follow in the footsteps of the devotees of the Lord, the Mahajanas, the spiritual master, the previous acharyas. So here Prabhupada gives an example also that the devotees of the Lord are paradukha dukhi. They are very much compassionate for others. They see others trying to become happy, but they never become happy. And they never achieve the goal of life. They remain on a material platform. So unfortunately for them. So Prabhupada was, in this way, he was thinking how to preach in the Western countries. And he took example of his own spiritual master. He is the first guru to have used a car to go from one place to another. Generally, traditionally, all the gurus, saintly persons, sadhus, sannyasis especially, the sannyasis, they only go by walk. Just like some time back, No, one sannyasi from the Shankara Sampradaya came from Sringeri to Hyderabad by foot. I was staying in the house of one of our life members like this for a few days. Again, traveling by foot. No question of going by bus or train or anything. Only by foot. That is the traditional. Then another tradition in the Madhva Sampradaya, in UDP, you will hear that the sannyasis are forbidden to cross the ocean. Strictly forbidden. One of the sannyasis recently, maybe some 10, 15 years ago, he was in at the Puttige mat, one of the 7 mats of UDP, and he developed the idea that why not preach in America? He understood, Prabhupada went there, Prabhupada was successful, so he developed the idea, I will go there. So without taking proper permission from his senior, he is a junior sannyasi, very enthusiastic, but he didn't take proper permission. So he just left and he went to America, and for some time he was there preaching Madhvacharya's philosophy. Of course, it was very difficult. Then he came back. When he came back to UDP, then the other sannyasi, they told him, oh, you have crossed the ocean. Chi. Now you have become impure. You cannot. Okay, you can still worship the deity. Or I will allow you. You worship deity. You can offer agarbati and panchadipa. But you cannot touch the deity. You cannot touch because you are not pure. So that was this is the tradition. And so Srila Prabhupada is giving in the purport to this sloka how to accept Rupa Goswami's advice that anasaktasya vishayan yataran upayun jataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchate. One must, a sannyasi especially, or anybody as a devotee, must be vairagi. He must not enjoy objects of senses. So what is the idea? The idea is that he should consider, he should accept, he should acknowledge every sense object belongs to Krishna. And I can utilize, this is Krishna's property, just like this temple, this is Krishna's property, all the marble, everything, that is Krishna's property. And should be used only for Krishna's service. That is called Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation. So, Srila Prabhupada followed the example of his Guru Maharaj. His Guru Maharaj was in the car, going by car, so that in one day he could go to 3, 4 different places and give lectures to different programs. So that was the benefit. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, after taking Diksha from Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji, he made a vow that I will chant 1 crore Nam in Mayapur. I will sit down there. I will not go anywhere. I will sit there, and there will be a small, kacha, some protection, and I will sit there. I will just chant Hare Krishna. That was his vrata. And it took about 10 years. For 10 years, he was engaged in chanting Hare Krishna Japa in Mayapur. Nobody was there. Mayapur temple was not developed. Only there's a shack. Some shack was there, sat there, chanting Hare Krishna. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji told him, what are you doing? You think you are great? You become a great Vaishnava, chanting in seclusion? Nobody is coming. What is the benefit? Of course, you are benefited, certainly. You are benefited. But what about others? What about people in general? They are not coming here. You don't speak to anybody. So what is the use? How? You have to become you are sannyasi means you must become a preacher. You must spread Krishna consciousness, mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You must go to the big city. You must go to Calcutta. In the middle of Calcutta, you must build a temple and you must spread the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the big city. That is your duty as a sannyasi. At that time, up to that time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was thinking, Calcutta is hell. Why should I go to hell? I should stay in Mayapur, the holy, divine appearance place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I should be here only. But he got the instruction from his guru. No, you go to Calcutta and you preach from there. So that was the beginning of Gaudiya Math. And then Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, taking instruction to preach in the Western countries. Nobody had done that before. But he followed Yukta Vairagya. For instance, Prabhupada is giving example, microphone. What is this microphone? It is such a manufacture in a factory. That factory, so many workers are there. They are struggling very hard for their life and they are manufacturing this microphone. So this is a material object. What is the use? Material object, I have nothing to do with this. The Mayavadis are saying, this is false. It has no existence. It will not last. It is useless. It is so they would reject as a microphone. Prabhupada say, microphone. Your lecture can be heard with hundreds of people. It is very useful for preaching Krishna consciousness. So that is the meaning of Yukta Vairagya. We are not attached to a microphone, but we are attached to Krishna Seva, to preach Krishna consciousness. That is our source of, our real purpose of life and our source of happiness. So for that purpose, we can utilize anything. Everything belongs to Krishna. Everything, Krishna is everywhere. Krishna is the creator. He is the owner of everything. Therefore, by using Krishna's property in Krishna's service, without any attachment, we can develop and propagate Krishna consciousness. So I think I've gone a little too far. So these are some of the important points in this sloka. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.